Good morning. My name is Susan Reardon. I'm the staff hearing officer, and I call the meeting of Wednesday, October 17th to order. Today we have 4 items on our agenda, and I haven't received any requests for continuances, so we'll hear them in the order that they appear on the agenda. Under announcements and appeals, we did receive an appeal of a project that's located at 1654 Shoreline Drive. It was on the last agenda, and they were requesting an interior setback modification to allow pool equipment inside the interior setback, and then to also allow conversion of a garage to accessory space. And the portion of the project that involved the pool equipment was denied, and so that has been appealed. A date at the Planning Commission hasn't been scheduled yet, and once I know, I will announce it. Is there anybody in the audience who would like to address the staff hearing officer on items not on today's agenda? No, seeing no one, we'll go to the first item, which is 415 Allen Road, if the applicant would like to come up. Good morning.
It's a little bright.
I'm thinking they don't have the TV on. Oh, there we go.
That's
All right, great.
There we go.
Okay, anytime you're ready.
Okay. I'm Suzanne Regal, the planner for this project, and this parcel at 415 Allen Road was part of a recent subdivision to create 2 new lots. The outline of the original lot is outlined in green, and the future lot line is indicated in orange. So I have highlighted the setbacks for what will be the parcel that this remaining or the existing house will be on. The area highlighted in pink is the subject of the modification request today, which is a new accessory structure located in the front yard. The applicant is proposing to do a 535 square foot addition to the existing single car garage that is located right here, which will result in a 260 square foot single car garage and a 496 square foot accessory building. The SFDB reviewed the project and found that the improvement was an appropriate improvement and had no aesthetic issues or consistency issues with the single-family design guidelines. We did receive a letter from Julie Bowden, a neighbor that is not in support of the project, feeling that we have granted too many discretionary approval actions, including the subdivision that would add density to the property. She also had concerns that the 496 square foot accessory space would be used as a studio residential unit. Staff did visit the site and noted that the fence along the front property line is actually only 3.5 feet in height instead of the 6-foot-high chain link there. The hedge has grown up to a 6-foot height. It has been trimmed back along the existing driveway 10 feet so that the hedge does not exceed 3.5 feet within 10 feet of the edge of the driveway in either direction. With that, staff recommends the approval making the finding on page 2 and possibly a condition to maintain the hedges in compliance with the municipal code.
Okay, thank you. I don't have any questions at this time. Would you like to state your name for the record and add any additional comments?
Christine Prone, architect, and I'm here with the...
Andy Sebald, I'm the owner.
I just wanted to, explain a little bit. There's an existing one car. It's currently used kind of as a studio, but you can tell from the photos that it initially been designed as a one-car garage here. It's kind of an existing condition. The proposals convert that back to its garage use, staying within the less than 750 square foot maximum allowed for this zone property. And then, as we already said, adding on the studio space off the back. So it's kind of an existing sensibility to this property to already have a small structure up here. It's also up against a E3 zone where there's a 20-foot typical setback with the homes, and you can see that in this condition here along Allen Road. And the existing building on this property is actually set back significantly from the street frontage.
So here's the existing building. Here's the
Right.
existing garage structure you're talking about.
So as a designer, I felt this actually improved the sense along Allen Road of compatibility with the rest of the neighbors by building this little outbuilding. And the single-family design board kind of agreed with the sensibility of it, making it like a little old outbuilding barn-like structure. That's why I felt that this was an appropriate design, from a design point of view, an appropriate decision. And the other problem we had was anywhere that they would be allowed to put their accessory structure pretty much ends up within the designated front yard, just because it's already been developed back here. The slope back here gets quite steep. So there's no way to develop this property to what they're allowed to develop without technically being in the front yard, even though it's significantly set back from the street frontage. And I think that kind of explains a lot of our design thinking and why we thought this was an appropriate development.
Okay, great, thank you. And I would like to clarify that there was mention that garage size is limited to 750 square feet, given the size of your parcel. It's over an acre or close to an acre?
It's
It's over an acre, 59. So it's over an acre, and the amount of accessory space the parcel is limited to is 500. So in terms of the size and amount of square footage, that conforms with our zoning ordinance. It's just the fact that it's in our front yard.
correct, which is just by the geometry of this
The
lot,
layout.
almost all the entire lot is front yard.
And the strange thing is that this was the front yard, this is the front yard, because originally, and all the sewer hookups and water and everything go to Cliff Drive because the house that was next to it wasn't there. So when the house was built in 1978, this was actually the front yard.
So was this parcel actually split off from this parcel, and then this one was further split off?
Years
Or-
ago, there were 4 parcels split. There was
Okay.
the one at the corner, this one, and 2 over here.
Okay. Okay. That was just a side note. It wasn't really bearing on this application, but I was
No.
just wondering. Okay, great. I would like to open the public hearing. Is there anyone here who would like to address the staff hearing officer on 415 Allen Road? No, seeing no one? Like Ms. Regal said, I did receive an email from a neighbor at 430 Allen Road against the project. They're expressing concerns that the site's fully developed and has been granted significant variances over the objection of neighbors in the Planning Commission. So I'll close the public hearing. I went out to the site and I visited, looked around the surrounding area and got a feel for the site. And I agree with the location, as you explained, that in terms of its location in what is called the front yard, that really is the most appropriate space. If you come over to the north, that is steeply sloped, and I know you're digging in a little bit into the hill, but it's kind of tucked down low. And then there's and it makes sense to attach it to the garage. I do have a concern, although you're only proposing a half bath, the fact that it is a garage and a studio area, and I know you wouldn't have any plans, but in the future it becoming, transitioning into maybe a second unit, which wouldn't be allowed. So I am inclined to support the project, but then put a condition, which probably would have been a standard condition anyways, that a zoning compliance declaration be recorded against the property. And that basically just alerts the future owners it's recorded that it's a single-family zone. It's only for one residence, and just makes it clear for future owners that that's not to be used
I have absolutely no
as a
problem with
separate
that.
unit. Okay. All right, so I'll make the findings outlined in the staff report, and I'll add that condition regarding the zoning compliance declaration be recorded prior to the C of O. And my action is appealable to the Planning Commission within 10 calendar days. They also have oversight authority of all my actions, and if they felt this warranted additional discussion before them, they could call it up during that same day, 10-day appeal period. And if that was to occur, Ms. Riegel would contact you.
Okay.
Okay?
Great.
Right.
Thank you.
very much.
Sure. Oh, we'll just note on the hedge that it's, on the plans that fence is actually 3.5 feet instead of 6 feet.
Can- I will do that. I've agreed to cut it. I just wanted to explain the reason that it's so high. First of all, it was so high when I bought the house in '99.
Yeah, I noticed on the
But
ZIR.
the main reason that it's so high is there's a huge amount of beach traffic on Allen Road, and they throw beer cans and everything else over into our yard.
Well, the appropriate process would be then to request a modification to allow a higher fence or
Okay.
hedge. So at this time, since it's not part of your project approval, it can't be shown on there if it doesn't comply with the ordinance.
Okay.
So if that is a request that you wish to go forward with, that would be, apply for, yeah.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much.
The next project is located at 220 Cottage Grove Avenue. If the applicant would like to come up. Good morning.
Good morning, how are you?
Good.
This project is at 220 Cottage Grove. The proposal is in front of the staff hearing officer, is a request to permit 58.5 square feet of additions to 3 residential units that are located on a 6,300 square foot lot. The property is existing, legal, non-conforming to density. It is approximately 660 square feet short of having 3 two-bedroom units. It is legal, like I said, but when you have a non-conforming property, you're not allowed to add square footage without requesting a lot area modification, which is one of the requests that is before the staff hearing officer today. When the 2-story building was built at the rear of the property, facing the alley, the property owner enclosed a small area, approximately 7.5 square feet. I don't know what my pointer went over.
We're talking about this house here.
This little yellow area is a 7.5 square foot addition. And at the same time, they lengthened the balcony. It was a smaller balcony. They've widened it to the length of the building here. And the balcony is located in the rear 10-foot setback. So that is a request for a setback modification to encroach into the 10-foot setback at the rear of the property. Staff would like to talk a little bit about the existing density being 21 dwelling units an acre. With the adoption of the general plan update, the council adopted policies to allow for a future average unit size density program. These units are small in size and average about 670 square feet per unit when you take the average across the lot. And therefore, this project would qualify for a future average unit size density program when the implementing ordinances are developed. That is another reason that staff supports the lot area modification for this lot. The lot is small. It's a relatively small amount of addition on this rear building. There's also a 51 square foot addition on this duplex at the rear. It basically was the rear porch. It had an overhang, and they have enclosed it to make the kitchen and the associated bedrooms on each side of the duplex slightly larger. It's about 25 and a half square feet per unit that was added. So the additions are relatively small in scale, the units are small in scale, and the density is consistent with the average unit size density program that is proposed by the general plan update.
Pretty good analogy.
Oops. And this project will also abate violations that are currently the subject of enforcement.
And do we have a second floor plan for the garage area?
It's the residential unit above,
Which is, this is the front one.
yes, I think she put it on a different sheet.
What's that?
Oh, up here. Here it
Yes.
is. There it is. Okay, great. You're actually perfect timing. Would you like to state your name for the record and add any additional comments?
I'm Catherine Dunbar.
Ms. Riegel just went through and walked through the staff's recommendation and the requirements, what modifications are being requested, so I don't know if you wanted to add anything additional, or...
I'm sure Susan covered it just
She did an
perfectly.
exceptionally good job.
Okay, great, thank you. And would you like to state your name for the record?
Yeah, my name's Dario Penny. I'm the owner of the property.
Okay, great. So I'd like to open the public hearing. Is there anyone here who would like to address the staff hearing officer on 220 Cottage Grove Avenue? Seeing no one, we haven't received any public comment, Kathy, on any? Okay, great, thank you. I'll close the public hearing. I went out to the site and visited the neighborhood. Saw a number of the violations on site, which I understand are going to be cleared
Corrected,
up as
yeah.
part of this. It looked like there was some work going on in the duplex, but I think it's to shore up, to close up the door and the
We're
window.
doing,
That was prior.
most of the violations have been taken care of right
Oh,
now,
great.
except for what we have here.
Okay, so this is just the
And
end of
that's
it.
what we're doing. We're enclosing that door and the window.
Okay, great. I agree with staff's recommendation in regards to the front unit and adding onto the duplex, enclosing an existing overhang area that's enclosed. It doesn't increase the footprint. It doesn't increase the bedroom count. It just makes the floor plan a little more workable. I think that's fully supportable. In terms of the rear setback, when an applicant requests encroachments into a setback, we're always concerned of what the impact off-site would be with a neighboring property. In your instance, it's an alley. I don't know if it shows it on.
In a parking lot.
Yeah, when you look at what's back there, it's a alley, and then across the alley is another parking lot. So in terms of potential, here it shows, but this isn't it though, is it?
I'm trying to show other balconies along the alleyway
Yeah,
too.
but just in the idea of getting for people at home, there's the alley and there is parking along the alley. So in terms of potential off-site impacts, the addition of the alley, of the second-story balcony, it's appropriate in this situation, and I could support your requested modification for the balcony encroachment into the rear yard. Yeah, the building addition, that's all outside of the setback, so it's just purely the balcony addition.
It gives them a little more outdoor space to sit, be outside.
Yeah, 'cause it is pretty cramped on your site. So I can make the findings outlined in the staff report, improve your requested modification for the lot area, and then also the modification for the interior, or rear yard setback in the R3, R4 zone, and approve your project. And they are subject to the conditions outlined in the staff report, and you've had a chance to review those. And okay, so your project is approved. My action is appealable to the Planning Commission within 10 calendar days. And they also have oversight authority of all my actions, and if they thought this warranted additional discussion before them, they can call it up during that same day, 10-day appeal period, and if that was to occur, Ms. Riegel would contact you.
Okay, thank
Okay,
you very much.
sure.
Thanks for your time.
Dennis will be very happy. Thank you.
Sure. The next item is 132 West Haley. If the applicant would like to come up. Good morning.
Plans would be helpful. This
Anytime you're ready.
property, 132 West Haley Street, is located in the Brinkerhoff Landmark District and is a structure of merit as the bungalow triplet number 2. The lot is approximately 2,100 square feet, just shy of 2,200 square feet. It is developed with a 714 square foot residence. The project, it will be abating enforcement items listed in ENF 2011-00951 for previously constructed unpermitted work that is highlighted in pink on this small demo plan here. The project will result in the conversion of a utility room at the rear of the property to a bedroom. At the time of the approval of the utility room, it did receive a modification, but it had the request and the building permit both said that the room was not to be used for habitation or a bedroom. So the applicant is requesting to allow the conversion of the non-habitable storage room to a bedroom for a better floor plan. They will be adding approximately 10 square feet at the entry outside of the setbacks, and they will be constructing a new storage structure on the outside of the building at the easterly property line, approximately 34 square feet. The project meets it's considered legal nonconforming to the outdoor living space because they do not have any area at the rear of the property that meets the 15 by 15 common open space area. But this property was developed before that ordinance provision applied. Therefore, staff recommends approval of the modification for the conversion of the existing utility room to a bedroom due to the constraints on the site being extremely small and making the residence more usable. And subject to the condition that all the violations listed in the enforcement case are shown and to be abated on the plans, which I believe they are.
Well, that was one of the questions I had with the site visit. Here's the front of the house. And it's dark, but there's the wood fence all the way along, and then it has the little trellis gate cuts in and then out. And on here, on the plan, it says as-built 5-foot-high fence and gate, and then it says 7-foot-high trellis to be removed as shown and dashed. Now that the fence, since there's no modification requested for it, it's going to be reduced too. That's part of the enforcement?
No, this property is Zone C2, and the fences, hedges, walls, and screen ordinance does not apply on the C2 properties. So they are
It
allowed
says
to have
zone
it.
versus used.
Correct.
Okay. All right.
So they are removing the trellis because that would be considered an encroachment, but they are leaving the fence, the overheight fence.
Okay. And the HLC reviewed that, and they're fine with the wood fence out front?
That was the direction that I heard.
Okay. All right, great, thank you. If you'd like to state your name for the record and add any additional comments?
Lori Kari, architect, and Suzanne was very thorough with her presentation. I, really strongly believe that, this conversion of, which was this utility room into a bedroom is extremely appropriate as the, the restricted size of the house, and it just is the proper size for a very modest bedroom, and all the windows that were located there in the earlier addition will be as about the same size or smaller even. So we're not, I think, invading privacy on the neighboring homes and properties.
Okay. And the size of the house is 724 about? Square feet?
714.
714. And then with that little 10-foot.
Oh, yes, with the addition, it will be 724, which is right here.
All right, great, thank you. I do have a speaker slip from Wanda Livenois. If you'd like to come up, you have a seat.
I also want to state that a letter was received from Tony Valsello in support of this project and the conversion of that bedroom to a utility room, but I think it went to the Historic Landmarks Commission file instead of coming to this board.
So it was in support?
Yes.
Okay, great, thank you. You can push the button to turn it on. There we go, yeah. I've
Good.
just turned it off.
Hi, I'm Wanda Livernoy. I own the adjacent property at 507 Brinkerhoff with the garage that is on the property line. And various tenants have asked me that we not have that window in the setback on the conversion, not simply for visual privacy, but for sound privacy. Now, I have never been kept awake by the wrong color, but I have been kept awake by alarms, by noise. If this is going to be a bedroom, and I think it probably makes sense to be a bedroom, televisions playing until 1 and 2 in the morning can be very disturbing and have a great impact on adjacent neighbors. And it would have a real impact on the tenants who are at 508 De La Vina. So I would ask that that window be not put in.
So you're on this is your garage here you were talking about?
Correct.
Okay.
And do you know where the window is that I'm talking about?
There's
that one, yeah.
one here.
I don't know if that was in the original plan or not, but I would ask that that be closed up. You've got a lot of ventilation in the house anyway.
That was a much larger window that was approved, and we are reducing them to.
But doing away with it would be the best. And the other thing, for this commission, for Historical Landmarks Commission, you have to make a decision sometimes. Are you going to go with C2, even if the use is residential, for those high fences? The high fences on Haley Street, I think, are very oppressive, period. I know people love them, think they're wonderful, they add. Not to me.
In regards
There's no
to,
setback. They are all of those kinds of things on the property lines all over the west side are just an invitation for graffiti. 6 inches, plant, do a shorter fence, lots of things. But on the property line, they are just an invitation for graffiti.
Okay, great, thank you.
Okay?
Yeah. Is there anybody else who would like to address the staff hearing officer on this item? No? Seeing no one, I'll close the public hearing. In regards to the fence, that's why I'd asked that question.
I know.
Is that so?
I know.
It's out of my purview, but it would be something to bring up at the design review board at HLC when it returns, and have them look at it. Since it is as built, it is something they're including as part of the project. And Ms. Rigo, would you like to respond to the window in terms of? And then we can turn to the elevations.
The utility room window shows here on this as-built plan was a much larger window here.
Was it operable?
It was. It was supposed to be a utility room, so I don't know that they had any restrictions placed on it. It was abutting a garage, so they approved it that way. But the proposed windows are smaller in roughly the same location, more centered over the proposed bed area, but they do not require modification
Why don't?
because they're smaller in size. They're replacing the larger window.
All right, great, thank you. So,
It's these windows here.
and so they are tall. There are, so they're smaller in terms of size this way too.
May I add a comment on that?
Yeah.
They all those windows and the French door will be dual glazed, so that will help the sound.
I've
impact.
actually closed the public hearing.
It dramatically helps the sound impact. So I think there will be
Oh, you got one. Make sure that mic's on too. We've turned it off. Does it rock? Because you can lock it so it doesn't rock. Yeah, there's a button. Okay. All right.
Lock and rock.
Yeah. Great. Anytime you're ready.
Okay. Good morning, Ms. Reardon. This project is 1236 Garden Street. The subject parcel is at the corner of Garden and East Victoria. It's a 3,721 square foot lot, and it's developed with a 1,071 square foot single-story, single-family residence. This was constructed at the turn of the century and qualifies as a city structure of merit. It's also developed with a 171 square foot garage that doesn't meet the current city standards in terms of interior dimensions. The proposed project is for demolition of an existing 67 square foot laundry room, demolition of the existing garage, and then addition of a new garage, some square footage on the ground floor, and a second story addition, which involves conversion of attic space.
There will be many other nights like this, and I'll be standing here with someone new. There will be other songs to sing, another fall, another spring, but there will never be another you. lips that I may kiss, but theirs don't thrill me like yours used to do. No, I may dream a million dreams, but how can they come true if there will never ever be another you?
Come with me if you want to go to Kansas City. I'm feeling low down and blue. My heart's full of sorrow. Don't hardly know what to do. Where will I be tomorrow? Going to Kansas City, wanna go to. No, you can't make it with me. Going to Kansas City, sorry that I can't take you. When you see me coming, raise your window high. When you see me leaving, baby, hang your head and cry. I'm afraid there's nothing in Miss Creamy's dreamy town a honky-tonky monkey woman can do. She'd only bring herself down. So long, everybody. The time is coming, I must leave you. So if I don't ever see your smiling face again, make a promise you'll remember, like a Christmas day in December, that I told you all through thick and thin, on up till the end. Parker's been your friend. Don't hang your head when you see those 6 pretty horses pulling me. Put a $20 silver piece on my watch chain. Look at the smile on my face and sing a little song to let the world know I'm really free. Don't cry for me, 'cause I'm going to Kansas City. If you want to go to Kansas City.